Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to see you all again. Welcome in Bruges. I hope you had already a very interesting stay. I hope the day today was already very inspiring. My name is Julie. I work at Visit Flanders and I'm the responsible for arts and heritage. Today I would like to give you, maybe inspire you with a presentation about arts in Flanders. But let me start by elaborating maybe a bit on the connection between arts and Flanders. Well, for ages, Flanders has been home to the Flemish Masters. Flanders was once one of the richest art regions in Europe. It was leading and even course setting. Jan van Eyck, Dirk Bouts, Hans Memling, Peter Bruegel, Peter Paul Rubens, Anthony van Dyck, James Ensor. These are only a few of the very well-known names throughout the world of of the artists who used to live here, work here, and are very much connected to our destination. Well, the paintings of our masters, they traveled all over the world. You can admire them in various museums throughout the world. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to discover our Flemish masters, I strongly encourage you to travel to Flanders. And why? We offer actually an extra perspective on these masters. Of course, you can look at them, you can have a look at them in our marvelous museums, but we offer something extra. You can discover our masters, welcome, not only in our museums, but you can also discover them in various locations throughout the cities. For example, when you go to Antwerp and you walk through the city, you can visit several monumental churches in which you have several paintings by Rubens that he originally created for this location. So they really offer you a new perspective, a different perspective than when you see them in a museum, because you see them in the context for which he created them. Or you can go to the Rubens house in Antwerp and you can see where the master used to work. You can visit his atelier, but you can also have a look at his garden, a garden which will be completely renewed. They are currently doing a lot of work on it, and the beginning of 2024, a new garden will be opening up. It will be a collaboration between fashion and nature, because the fashion designer Dries van Noten has made a design inspired by Rubens, and this will be the main inspiration for the future of Rubens' garden. So, you can also go to Ghent and visit the Ghent altarpiece. The Ghent altarpiece was installed in the St. Bavels Cathedral in 1432, and still today it is hanging there on that original location. So it's really these kind of visits that make Flanders unique. Okay, but I was going to show you some new things for Flanders. So this is the Ghent altarpiece in its new location. So there's a brand new visitor center that opened up 2 years ago. But we have some more news to share with you. And let me start maybe by the biggest news. The biggest news is the reopening of the Royal Museum of Fine Arts in Antwerp. Last Saturday, after 11 years of work, finally the museum reopened its doors. The beautiful collection of the museum had been traveling all over the world for 11 years, and it was, I must say, quite emotional to see it back last Saturday. To share some emotions, I have a short video for you.
No, I can't forget this evening, all your faces you were leaving when I had you there, but then I let you go. And now it's only fair that I should let you know what you should know.
I must say, the combination of Mariah Carey and art, I didn't see it coming, but it works out quite well. Okay, so let me tell you a bit more about the museum. So the museum, it has a very nice collection. It's a collection of international allure. I will show you a bit more about it, but it has really a spectacular value. The new building, it's actually a new building within the old building. It will be a combination of old and new. It will be a combination, it will be all about contrast, let's say. There's also a museum garden with several art installations in the garden. And of course, it has its internationally renowned art institution. It's a research institution in combination with a conservation studio. And in the museum itself, they also do restoration. So when you, as a visitor, you go and visit the museum, you can see restorers at work on several marvelous paintings. And then, of course, I told you already about the collection. What is important about the collection? Well, the Flemish primitives, of course. It has one of the largest and finest collections of our Flemish primitives. But it also has a leading collection in 17th century masterpieces. Masterpieces by Rubens, by Van Eyck, by Jordaens. All the marvelous big paintings are in the collection, gathered in one of the historic galleries. They have an impressive collection of modern art, which has a whole separate department now. And of course, James Ensor is one of our stars in the museum. What about the architecture? What's new? Why did it take them 11 years to work on the museum? Well, it's really a combination of old and new. It's a combination of a new museum within the museum. The architects, Can architects, they created actually a second museum inside the museum. You can really see it like a box dropping down into the museum, and that's also the feeling that you get when you visit the museum. So when you look at the art collection, it's also reflected in the way you visit it. So you have the first part of the collection before the 19th century. It's all shown in the historical galleries, and then you have the modern masters, which are all part of the new modern architecture. I have some more pictures of them. It's the empty museum, but you can already get an impression about the atmosphere. And this is a picture of last Saturday with, again, finally visitors walking through the museum. Some more impressions. You get here a very nice stairway. It's called the Staircase to Heaven. The architect gave it that name, and also on the right side, a very nice architectural experience. But what about the visitors? Because of course it's all about them. What can they expect? Well, they want to challenge visitors to look differently. They want to invite them to see more. They will play with questions and answers, and they want to stimulate dialogue. They want to inspire and experiment, and they want to encourage participation of the visitors. And how will they do that? Well, of course, they have all the classics. Every museum offers these things. So they have gallery labels and text. They're present in 9 languages. They have guided tours in 6 languages. And if necessary, on demand, we can even look for more possibilities. They have a museum app for individual visitors. So you can go through the museum with your own app. You can create your own tour based on your interests and see if you want the highlights tour or maybe more in-depth information. Throughout the museum, you have several touchscreens installed. They give you extra perspective on the paintings. You can zoom in on several parts. You can look at videos. Here, the museum professionals giving some extra explanation. So they give you an extra experience. And then, of course, they organize several creative activities and workshops. What else did they do? Well, they invited the artist Christoph Koppens. He's also our opera director in Antwerp. And they invited him to make several installations throughout the museum. It's actually kind of a children's quest, but I think it's interesting for everyone. He made 10 very large installations throughout the museum that are all based on details of several paintings. So they offer a nice variety in your visit, and they're quite surprising. And the hand even moves, so you're quite surprised when you're in the room. And then, of course, they will not only focus on their permanent collection, they will do many exhibitions. The first exhibition is planned in October. It will be all about tronies, the studies of the faces our masters used to do. And I must say, it's a quite funny topic. It's actually the first exhibition on this subject, and it really elaborates on this. It gives a new analysis of this intriguing phenomenon, and it will be a collaboration with the National Gallery of Ireland. They will show 60 tronies by several artists, Flemish masters, but also international masters, such as Dürer, Bruegel, Rubens, Van Eyck, Jordaens, and so on. Here's some more pictures of the paintings that will be part of the exhibition. It's really an intriguing topic, I must say. Okay, but enough about Antwerp. Let me tell you a bit about my hometown. I come from Leuven, so I have to give you some insights on my city. Leuven is a small historic city. It's a student city. It's very much alive. And it has a beautiful historic center. So you can see the town hall here, which is beautiful. And they also have an interesting cultural program next year. So they will be focusing on Bouts. Who is Bouts, you might think? But let's first look at Leuven, sorry. Okay, that's some impressions about Leuven. But I was talking about Bouts. Well, Bouts, he's one of our Flemish primitives. He's a Renaissance painter. He was in search of a new visual language, and he was really a pioneer in constructing landscapes. He might be a little bit less known, but for sure his quality is very high, and for experts, they will confirm to you that he's really a top painter that needs to get some attention. So it's good that they're organizing this in Leuven. So what will they do? They will create a citywide event, an event with 2 exhibitions at the center, but also a program throughout the city with many other interventions. So in Leuven we have Museum M. There's a picture of Museum M here. Also contrast between old and new, as you can recognize throughout the presentation. And Museum M will do 2 exhibitions, one transhistorical exhibition where they will really focus on Bouts himself, on his life, on the perspectives he used throughout his work. And then there will be a second exhibition which gives you more a contemporary look on new imaging technology and ideology. So it really, again, will be a contrast between old and new. I explained that in Flanders, when you come to Flanders, you don't only go to museums to discover art, but you also go and visit the real thing in the authentic places. And the same counts for Leuven. This is the St. Peter's Church at the city center, and there the most well-known painting by Bouts is hanging, The Last Supper. And again, you can visit it, but you can also have a whole experience around it with the latest technology that will immerse you with an experience connected to the master. This brings me maybe to a next project. It's called Flemish Masters in situ. I don't have to persuade you anymore that historic places and art, they go well together. Well, with this project, we try to even give you more information about this. We started this project 2 years ago, and we created a website called flemishmasters.com, where we tried to gather all the information of the different sites. We tried to give you an overview of all those special places where you can encounter the art in its historical location, but also the places where extra experience, extra information is given for the visitors. Now, don't go to the website yet. I mentioned it already, but we'll do a brand new website with much better information, and it will be launched in September 23. So much more information to come, but like this, you already have some point where you can have already some information. So what will the project will be about? Well, we tried to create an umbrella brand to really tell this story that I'm trying to persuade you with. It's a treasure trove of both hidden gems, but also well-known places throughout Flanders. It's a combination of old masters, but also modern masters. It will be all unique places in the art cities, but also outside of the art cities, so maybe a bit more off the beaten track. And we try to connect them. So they will not be isolated individual locations, but really try to connect them in tours that have a specific theme or that are close together to really make an interesting offer for visitors. And each location also should have an experience of its own. So there's some more locations that I can show you. And then you can see a bit how we will connect them. So there will be cycling tours, there will be boat rides, connecting these special locations to make it really worth your while to visit these locations. Because as you want to do them individually, it's maybe a lot of effort to get there, but if you want to can combine them with several locations, then it becomes really interesting. Okay, and then the last part of news I have to share with you, it's all about Ensor. Who's James Ensor? Well, he's a symbolist. He's one of our modern masters. He was really an innovator in modern art in Flanders and in Belgium, and he's a famous painter who has a strong connection with Ostend, our city at the coast. In 2024, it will be 75 years after his death, and this occasion will be honored with a program in Ostend, but also in Antwerp. What will we do? Well, Musée in Ostend, the museum, which has a very nice collection of Antwerp paintings, will do a special exhibition in December of next year. And it will be all about 30 works by Ensor coming from public collections, but also private collections. And it will be all about still life. So they will add more 120 extra masterpieces to really work around this topic of still life and put it in a broader context. You don't only get to see him in the museum. As well, here you have many more links within the city. We have the James Ensor house. It's the house where Ensor used to live. He lived there for 30 years. He used to work there. He had his atelier there. And this house actually opened up for public, I think it was 2 years ago. They have authentic locations that are still looking like they used to in the time Ensor used to live there, but they also created new interactive experience spaces within the house. So there are some more images here. So in the left corner you can see the authentic living room of Ensor, where he used to sit, where he used to play music. But you can see also the new experience that are created, especially for families. It's really a very nice stop. Also throughout the city, there's many ways to encounter Ensor, and the city of Ostend created a tour. For example, here you can see the famous masks by Ensor that got quite an impressive image in the city. And then, of course, I explained that Antwerp will also be part of the program. Why? The Royal Museum of Fine Arts in Antwerp is the scientific research center for Ensor. They also have the big collection I just already mentioned. And of course, they want to participate in this program then. They will do a very nice exhibition in the fall of 24. They will focus on the innovative aspects that go far beyond the focus of the masks. Ensor is maybe the most well known for his masks, but he's much more than that. So this is what the exhibition really will show. There will be masterpieces coming from all over the world. In addition, there will also be pre-modernist contemporaries included in the exhibition, such as Monet, Renoir, and Munch. Here are some more images of the exhibition. And then it will not only stay in the Royal Museum, but there's 3 other museums in Antwerp participating in this program. And the first one is the Fashion Museum, also a museum which had quite they renewed everything in the museum, and they reopened 2 years ago or 1 year ago, I'm not sure anymore. So a brand new museum experience where they will focus on contemporary makeup artists in connection to Ensor as an inspiration. The Photo Museum in Antwerp, they will focus on identity and role-playing. And then we have our historical museum, Planta Moretus, which will really focus on Ensor's etching. So again, a whole program with all different perspectives on the master. Voilà, and that was maybe it for today. I hope I was able to persuade you a bit that if you want to experience art, you need to travel to Flanders. And there will be many more projects coming up on which we will keep you posted via my colleagues. But also, you're always very happy to contact me if you have any questions, or if you have any questions now. Please feel free.